Good evening. Welcome to South Asia Newsline. I'm Lipakshi Khurana. Here are the top stories we're tracking for you on Monday, the 27th of March. Much awaited Central Goods and Services Tax Bill tabled in lower house of Parliament. Cultural history at threat of extinction in Gilgit Baltistan. And 3 Indian women begin road trip to London to promote women empowerment. And now for all the details, Union Finance Minister of India tabled the Central Goods and Services Tax or GST Bill 2017 in the lower house of the Parliament on Monday. The GST Council and Union Cabinet have already given their nod to the 4 bills on GST.
Indian Finance Minister Arun Jaitley tabled a batch of Supplementary Goods and Services Tax or GST legislations in Lok Sabha or the lower house of the Parliament on Monday. Along with the 4 bills, Central GST, Integrated GST, Union Territory GST and Compensation Bill, amendments to the Excise and Customs Act to abolish various cess, as well as furnishing bills for exports and imports under the new GST regime will be placed before the Parliament on Tuesday. Once these bills are cleared by Parliament, the provinces will then take the provincial GST bill to their respective assemblies.
I seek leave to introduce a bill to make a provision for the levy of collection of taxes on interstate supply of goods and services or both by the central government and for matters connected therein or incidental thereto.
The new levy is hailed as India's biggest tax overhaul since independence in 1947 and is expected to transform Asia's third largest economy into a single market for the first time by subsuming excise, service tax, value-added tax and other local levies. The long-awaited GST was earlier proposed to come into effect from April 1. Its timeline, however, was disrupted by the deadlock on how to collect the new tax that would have federal and provincial elements. For the rollout of GST, the government has set the target of July 1.
Moving on to news from Pakistan, more than 100 Indian fishermen were arrested by Pakistan's Maritime Security Agency. They were brought to the port city of Karachi late on Sunday.
Pakistan's Maritime Security Authorities arrested 104 Indian fishermen along with 19 boats for allegedly trespassing to Pakistan's territorial waters, a police official said on Sunday. The fishermen were arrested on Saturday evening and were brought to Docks Police Station in the southern port city of Karachi late on Sunday for necessary legal action. The South Asian rivals frequently arrest each other's fishermen for encroachment.
पाकिस्तान मैरीन सिक्योरिटी वालों ने पाकिस्तानी समुद्री हदूद की खिलाफ वर्जी करने पर इंडियन की 19 लांचें जिन पे 104 माहीगीर सवार थे उनको पकड़ा है और जिनके खिलाफ थाने में फॉरेन एक्ट और फिशरी एक्ट के तहत मुकदमा कायम कर दिया गया है जिनको हम कोर्ट में पेश करेंगे.
India and Pakistan share an extensive oceanic border with each other, which is poorly defined, resulting in fishermen on both sides inadvertently crossing over to the other side while netting their catch. They often spend years in each other's jails before being set free and sent home.
Gilgit Baltistan's rich cultural heritage and tradition has been left to decay by the successive governments in Islamabad. The centuries-old tradition of the region is dying a slow death due to the lackadaisical attitude of the Pakistan government. A report.
The Gilgit Baltistan region is home to a number of diversified cultures, ethnic groups and languages. The vivid cultures and centuries-old tradition are enough to make it an international hub of tourism, which can even attract tourists from faraway places. But thanks to the government's apathy, it has been left to rot. Artists are not treated well, and slowly the rich cultural legacy of the region is erased from the memories of the people.
क्योंकि वहाँ पे सकाफत के नाम पे वज़ीर सकाफत तो है, लेकिन डिपार्टमेंट सच न होने की वजह से फनकार जो है बड़े मसाइल से दो चार हैं उनको मुल्क के दीगर शोबों में बुलाया जाता है, मुख्तलिफ कल्चरल प्रोग्राम में बुलाया जाता है। बुलाने के बाद उनकी वो तजलील की जाती है जो देखने के काबिल होती है। हालांकि किसी भी इलाके की जो सकाफत होती है, कहा जाता है अगर किसी इलाके को कमज़ोर करना हो या वहाँ की शिनाख्त मिटानी हो तो वहाँ की सकाफत पे हमले किए जाए।
People in the illegally occupied territory are even forced to fight for their basic rights. The indifferent attitude of the Pakistani establishment in preserving the culture has put the heritage of Gilgit Baltistan at the threat of extinction.
Moving on to news from Nepal. Ahead of the May 14th local elections in Nepal, Madhesi leader warns it will lead to instability in the Himalayan country. Madhesi-based parties have been demanding constitutional amendment before holding local polls.
Sanghya Samajwadi Forum Nepal's chairman Upendra Yadav in an interview claimed that the soon-to-be-held local elections in the Himalayan country will lead to chaos and instability. The army is expected to be deployed for the elections, which are scheduled to take place on May 14th. Yadav condemned the decision since the local polls are set to take place despite strong opposition from Madhes-based parties who have demanded constitution amendment prior to polls.
स्थानीय चुनावले कुनै पनि द्वन्द्वलाई हल गर्दैन। द्वन्द्वग्रस्त अवस्थामा जबरजस्ती आर्मी लगाएर चुनाव गराउँदा त्यसले द्वन्द्वलाई झन बढाएर लैजान्छ र विध्वंस निम्त्याउँछ। यस्तो मूर्खतापूर्ण कार्य कसैले गर्नु हुँदैन भन्ने मेरो भनाइ हो।
The Himalayan nation has been embroiled in political unrest ever since the new constitution was adopted in 2015. The minority Madhesi in the southern plains say that the new charter consolidates the power of the country's hill elite and marginalizes them in the way new provinces will be created in a federal structure.
In news from Bangladesh, after escaping from Myanmar, the Rohingya refugees in Bangladesh are working as laborers to earn money so that they can feed their family. Increasing number of refugees are entering Bangladesh to flee violence at the hands of Myanmar military.
Rohingya refugees who had fled to Bangladesh are looking for work to sustain themselves. At the harbour, some men work as fishermen or labourers hauling in the daily catch. But the pay is too little for them to do much except to feed their family.
মায়াফাইন জাজুলিমি গরের মুরা জঙ্গললে যায় জাজুলিমি গরের ফেডার বাক্সা ফুয়া ফেলিদের গুলি মারের এ নির্যাতন ফাইনা আর বাংলাদেশে তাইরে শান্তিভাবে চলাফেরা করে।
Some of the Rohingya Muslim women sought fish at the dried fish processing factory. Many of their children were seen helping them.
নির্যাতন ভাই আর পারমান মুসলমান বেশি নির্যাতন হই এসে মজা এরা আর দুপুরে ভাত খাই আর মারে আর মাথার মগজ হতে লারে ফেলাই তো আর ফুয়াইন সুরাই আর নির্যাতন করে বলা লাগিল আর গম বুড়া মানুষে বাঁচালে এনা লাভলে এডিয়া না ভাই কে কুলনা ভাই।
A United Nations report issued last month said that Myanmar's security forces have committed mass killings and gang rapes of Rohingya in a campaign that very likely amounts to crime against humanity and possibly ethnic cleansing.
3 Indian women set off on a nearly 15,000 miles long road trip to London from southern Coimbatore city. It is aimed at promoting literacy for the girl child and women empowerment.
The trio of Meenakshi Arvind and Mogambiga Ratnam from Coimbatore and Priya Rajpal from Mumbai will travel through 24 countries in 70 days and reach London on June 5th, where they will be received by the Indian High Commission.
So we are driving from Coimbatore to London, covering 24,000 kilometers over 70 days, and we're carrying the literacy mission of Rotary across. seeking empowerment and education for the girl child.
The women are driving a modified SUV equipped with security features and a facility to store additional fuel. Myanmar, China, Uzbekistan, Russia, Belarus, Poland, Austria and France are some of the countries that they will traverse through as part of the road trip.
We strongly believe that women can be empowered only through literacy, and when the women are literate, the whole family will be educated, and it is good for the entire family and the society and the country and the entire world. So we thought we should drive for a cause, and the cause is women literacy, and nobody in the world should think the Indian women are still backward, socially suppressed and economically suppressed.
The 70-day trip will also commemorate the completion of 70 years of India's independence. The women, all experienced drivers, will be talking to the Indian diaspora during their stopovers and will also try to collect money for their cause.
A restaurant in Mumbai is ushering in a silent change. It is serving a blend of fine dining and inclusive growth by hiring speech and hearing impaired waiting staff, a magnet for the diners.
The restaurant boasts of a 27-strong team of servers who are speech and hearing impaired. Each item on the menu is paired with illustrated instructions for how to communicate it to the waiters using hand gestures or sign language. Each order also comes with its own name card when it arrives at the table to make sure customers know which dish is which.
So it is not about sympathy, it is not about empathy, it's a restaurant. We would define it as a cutting-edge restaurant which happens to be serving Indian food, in case of Mirchi and mine, which happens to be served by speech and hearing impaired individuals. That's the value addition. That is just a platform for them to show the world that yes, they can do it.
According to government figures, there are over 5 million people with hearing disabilities in India, only 5% of whom have had formal education. As such, a large majority remain outside the social mainstream, confined to their homes or in jobs away from the public eye.
Well, I think it's important that we include everybody in our community to make it better, and so this is bringing everybody from the community into our lives in different ways, and so I think it's awesome.
The Indian government also passed a bill last December on the rights of persons with disabilities that seeks to reserve 4% of government jobs and seats at educational institutes for people with disabilities.
Well, that's the way it was in South Asia this evening. Before we conclude, the top stories once again. Much awaited Central Goods and Services Tax Bill tabled in Lower House of Parliament. Cultural history at threat of extinction in Gilgit Baltistan. And 3 Indian women begin road trip to London to promote women empowerment. Now our viewers can watch the show on SouthAsiaNewsline.com. You can also visit us on Facebook.com/SAsiaNewsline and follow us on Twitter @SAsiaNewsline. Well, that's all in tonight's edition. We'll see you same time tomorrow. Good night.